So thanks guys again for taking time out of your day. I appreciate you. I'm so grateful to meet with you today. I hope this message resonated with you, and I hope you can grab onto it and let it be something that truly allows you to take a step back, open up your mind, and challenges maybe the way you think to allow you to get to a better place, allow you to just see things differently so you can flip the perspective, and allows you peace. This is what it's all about, guys. So I wish you blessings. Thank you again for joining me. God bless you. I do appreciate every second you're able to give to this. I know this investment that you guys are giving here is going to pay off such dividends, such great dividends for you guys in the future. So that's the biggest thing I want you guys to think about with this. I want to frame this for you guys. I want you to know that this information is not just something that I'm regurgitating to you. I'm literally showing you aspects of what I've done in my life and how it's proved itself time and time again in my life. Now, this information is time tested. It is from ages ago, and it has been tested throughout the ages. And people, successful people, talk about this as being the principles of their success. And it's all about very similar virtues that we're going to be talking about here. So the biggest thing that I want you guys to know with this whole mastery setup that we've been talking about, the past videos have led up to this point, really, where we're talking about, okay, what can you really do to start turning your life around, to start moving in a direction that's going to elevate yourself, it's going to elevate everything around us, that's going to make ourselves better, happier, more fulfilled individuals, which is going to in turn create a more happier, fulfilling environment, a reality around us, which then is going to spill into other people, which is then going to help them change their lives into happier, more fulfilling lives for themselves, which is only going to trickle into the next, and before you know it, over time, guys, just by this video right here, we are going to impact billions of people. That's the impact we're talking about here, and that's how it all starts. It all starts with one domino, one intuition, one information, leading to the knowledge, leading to the wisdom, leading to the changing of your habits, leading to the change of your reality. So with that being said, guys, just to understand commitment, Abraham Maslow, maybe you guys have heard him, maybe not. He is a psychologist, a humanistic psychologist, and he really narrows down commitment into a few different categories here. He talks about experiencing this moment fully, to be fully mindful, fully present. That is a key to being fully committed to something. You got to be fully present, all right? You have to be consciously choosing growth, constantly choosing growth over fear. Now, both paths, like we talked about before, the path that's going to lead you to the great outcome and the path that's going to lead you to the not so great outcome, the good versus the evil choice, the duality of both choices. This is what we face, that do I go this way? Do I go that way with my decision? It's a black or white decision, if you want to think about it in those terms. Now, with that being said, what are we choosing? Are we choosing consciously to move towards growth? Are we choosing constantly to move towards fear and allow fear and anxiety and depression to overwhelm us, to captivate and control our heart? Which choice are we choosing? Or are we choosing to go towards growth, which is letting go, being into this moment, letting go into the flow of things, of life, and just accepting and having faith that you are doing everything you can, and you allow God to work in your life. You allow that higher power, that power outside of us that keeps everything together, that makes everything work. You allow it to do its job. And that's where, when we make that decision, when we're on these paths, guys, we're looking at these two different situations, these two different scenarios for anything and everything in our life. This decision is made all the way down to small things like cleaning up after yourself, like doing the dishes, like, wiping the counters, like putting the food away, putting the cap back on the toothpaste, like these little things. And it also can change into these larger decisions of, do I buy this car? Do I buy this house? Which things, what do I say to my girlfriend, my significant other, my boyfriend, whatever it may be? You have to understand these fundamental decisions, the good versus evil, the choose growth versus choosing fear. It plays out in every situation we can ever have. That's the most fundamental thing. So if we can narrow down this one thing, that how am I making these decisions, we can change our life. Because if we can change always to making sure we are making decisions based on, I choose growth. Is it going to help me grow? If not, I'm not doing it. If it does, I'm going that way. If we can choose that, then we have a higher chance, a higher probability that success is going to be inevitable and it's going to be achievable and attainable. So you have to constantly choose growth. You got to listen to that inner voice, that deep inner voice inside you. That's God. That's the Holy Spirit moving inside you. And it's leading you towards your growth, always the best outcome for you. That's what it always is going to lead you to. A lot of times we listen to the other voice in our head, which is our ego speaking, our will, to impose our will. That's what our ego does. It tries to show our strength, our virtue. It becomes all about us and less about the we and all about the me. When we live based on our ego in all circumstances, it always leads towards inevitable death or bad situations, okay? So we got to listen to the right inner voice, the one that's leading you towards growth. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to develop a sense of mission that leads to purpose, and you have to expect things to progress, not easily, but painful nonetheless, all right? That's how you truly understand what commitment is. Understand that, okay, all these things are at play. I'm always choosing growth. I'm always choosing the right path that's going to lead me towards my goals. But I know that that is not going to be the easiest path. It's going to lead me right into the storm. And with that being said, guys, I know a lot of you right here, a lot of you are my clients. We've been working together for a while. And what I just said may seem like how our relationship has gone out. I'm leading you right into the storm. And it may seem like that. I've had a lot of people quit. I've had a lot of people quit on me. I've had a lot of people quit on themselves, most importantly, because they just couldn't understand that. They couldn't understand that I was leading them into the storm, but the storm was not meant to destroy them. The storm is always meant to make you stronger, to make you grow, to lead you through. And that will lead you to a sunshiny, rainbows environment, a happier place, a more fulfilling place, but you're going to be stronger and more capable in that place. You always got to go through the storm. You always got to go through a struggle. You're either going to face the struggle of regret, wishing that you did, wishing that you put in the time, wishing that maybe I just put a little bit more effort into my meal, into myself, in investment into myself. Or are you going to choose the immediate suffering of discipline and get a long-term fulfillment from that? So there's going to be suffering, guys. There's my point here. There's going to be suffering no matter which path we choose, towards our goals or towards ultimate defeat and failure and fear. There's going to be suffering. We got to choose our suffering. We got to choose it wisely. So with commitment, guys, know that suffering makes us stronger. We're not running from it. We're running through it. Okay. So with that being said, guys, when I was just going through this and writing about structuring this whole topic in my mind, I was really trying to figure out, okay, what are some good scenarios that I can say to you guys, and good stories that can kind of show you how this has affected me and how I've gone through this stuff in my life. And there was this one story that popped right up. It was back when I first started athletics. Well, not first started, but in high school, man, I was like a 2-3 sport athlete. I was playing all the time, but there was one coach, one athletic performance, if you will, that separated everything, that changed everything for me. And it all happened on the track field when I was running 110-meter sprints, hurdle sprints, actually, and the 200 hurdles. Those were my races. And my coach, he was a tough dude. He was a stickler. He made us sprint. He made us drill. He made us hustle all the time, which at the time I hated it, right? That was the immediate suffering of discipline. I absolutely hated it. My body sucked. My body did not want to go through it. It did not want to push through that suffering, that pain, that accumulation of lactic acid, and made everything burn. And I just felt out of breath, man. I could barely handle it. And my body was screaming, stop, stop, stop. We can't do it. But my mind said, yes, you can. But there was something that solidified everything from that moment, the moment that taught me to think with my mind saying, oh, yes, you can, instead of listening to my body that's saying, no, I can't. That imposing your will, that was really taught to me. He said, every time you run a race, you do not stop before that finish line. You run through the finish line. Now, it seems so simple. It seems so simplistic, right? Obviously, you want to run through the finish line, but when you're running, when you're tired, when your only focus is on giving everything you got, you lose track of where that finish line is sometimes. And sometimes you're focused on the competitor next to you, you get lost in those thoughts. Just like in life, we get lost with all these things in our life that are happening that are extremely relevant, but that take our focus away from our one goal, running through the finish line. So sometimes we'll get close to what we assume is the finish line, and then we'll start to slow down. We'll look back and we'll start to slow down. But the most important thing that is going to separate you from failing, from living in fear, from choosing fear and living in anxiety and depression and wondering what if or how can I get out of this, to taking action and being committed and staying disciplined and crushing your goals. That one thing, dude, is not looking back. It's not focusing on those distractions. It's leaving all of that behind you. It's focusing every ounce of energy you have onto the one thing that's the most important, crossing that finish line. And so instead, when you can focus on the finish line, you can look forward. You can know when to give that last little bit of energy to push you and propel you through the finish line. And you will, most times, win that race because of that last little bit of effort. Look at any Olympic race, man. Those last milliseconds are where it makes or breaks the race. People win based on those last little milliseconds, they outgive their opponent and they outshine, they outperform. But the most important thing, they give more heart. They give more of their heart in that race. Now, when I learned that, giving your heart, it was profound to me, because I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I've honestly, this whole about a decade now, I've been trying to figure that out. Like, what does that mean to have heart? Okay, I understand. It means to give all your energy, right? So that's very similar to what passion is. And passion is that same thing. It's giving all of your heart, giving all of yourself. It's living in this moment and giving all of your energy, all of your being towards something. Complete focus. When you have heart, you have focus. When you have drive, have passion, you have focus, complete focus towards one thing. And that focus is going to be that last little push that's going to propel you through that finish line, that last millisecond that's needed to win that championship, to win the first place or the second place, right? That last little push of everything you got. Like Michael Phelps, when he was winning those gold medals, he couldn't even see where the end line was, but he was just swimming as hard as he could, and he made it and won the race by milliseconds, man. That's heart. That's what we're talking about. That's passion. That is putting everything on the line. And that is how we need to live. And that, if we can do that, we can stay committed and we can stay choosing our goals, choosing growth over living in fear. That changed my life. It really did. It changed my life, man. And that's when I learned and understood the human will, what it's capable of and what is capable through it. That is the most important fact. It's not all about us. All right, we can only do so much, but there is a higher power that can be at play through us when we position ourselves to open up, to let go, to live in the flow. It allows it to do its work, to maneuver in us, to play the game that it controls, and it ultimately has a greater plan for, right? We're just pawns in this almost, if you want to think about it in a sense. We control our free will, but when we are aligned with God's free will, the free will of our creator, everything around us, when we are aligned with the universe, everything just flows a lot better. Things just flow easier, seamlessly, and you achieve your goals a lot faster. But most importantly, you are happier while you're doing that. You're living a full life. You're living a happier, truthfully more joyful life. And that's what this is all about. It's not just about achieving your goals, but it's about living a happier, fulfilling life while you are doing it. Not achieving and then receiving, but receiving and then achieving. There's a difference here. We flip it to make sure that we can ultimately grow. Because our society, if we continue to look at how society is pushing us, it's looking at that alternative. We have to achieve something in order to feel something. It's not the case in all this. And there's a lot of other scholars that say this as well. I am choosing to look at the wisest people in the history that clearly knew a lot more than I did, and that lived a lot longer, you know, in a different time. Choosing to listen to those philosophers and choosing to apply their teachings and choosing to understand and just to open my mind to asking the questions like, okay, what if they are true? What if they're not? You know, but when you do that, you start to see things in a different way. You start to perceive things in a different way. You start to really tune yourself to listening to that inner voice better, and it starts to become stronger. It starts to become louder, and then you can listen to it, you can follow it, you can move on your commitment with more energy, more passion, and more drive. All right, so I know what you're probably thinking, guys. I hear you. This is a lot of information, and you're probably like, hey, how does this apply to me? Like, this is great, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but still, how do I apply this into my life? So I want to give you some fundamental tools here and some practical things that you can use to apply this into your life, and that you can use to change things tremendously, and not change things because they need to be, but change things because they are going to allow you to have a better life, allow you to live happier, because that's ultimately what we want, right? Whether or not we achieve our goals or not, we want to be happier throughout the process and at the end of it. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to focus on understanding that fear is a serious thing. It is a serious thing. It's not something that I'm saying just ignore, don't ever focus on, because it's going to be in your life. It happens. Fear, if you experience fear, that is honestly, we can argue that is a very good thing, because if you can experience fear, that shows you that, hey, you're in this moment. You are alive, you are breathing, you are human, okay? You understand the consequences of things, okay? It's very ignorant to not even experience fear. That is something we want to steer away from. We want to experience fear. Like I said, we want to steer into the storm, move into the storm, through the storm. So it's not disregarding fear. It's actually using fear as motivation. And how do we beat fear then? We beat fear, as Jordan Peterson would say, we beat fear by making a plan. And in order to make a plan, you need to understand what your current habits are. That's why we talked about that in the past. If you want to retouch that topic, go back to the video number 1 and number 2, rewatch those videos. And that talks about your habits and how you can understand your habits, change your habits, and stack and build new habits on those habits. So from there, once you can understand your habits, then you can start to create a routine that you can follow, because human beings thrive off of routines. We are our best, our absolute best, when we have a routine to follow. And little do you know, maybe you realize this and maybe you don't. I know I didn't at first. We have a set routine that we're already following. It may be subliminal, maybe in the subconscious, we may not even realize it, but it is a pattern and movement that happens every single day, whether we realize it or not. So understanding your habits already, understanding your patterns, we can then change those, and we can manipulate the most important time when all patterns structure the day, your morning. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about one thing, guys. I'm a big believer in, if you can find one thing, that first domino, all the other dominoes can then fall over. It can be easier to fall over because you tackled that first bigger domino. So we got to focus on that one thing, that one domino. And I believe that one domino, in this case, that will change the way you look at time, the way you manage time, how you use and maximize time, is your morning. If we can structure your morning in a way that is going to be efficient and optimal for you, especially for you, then you can start to really get a hold on your life. You can start to free up a lot more time. You can maximize your time, and you can be more productive, leading to a faster result for your goals. So it starts in your morning. All right. So how do we start our morning, guys? We got to start our morning there are 5 millionaire. All right. There are 5 wealthy mindset. And I'm talking about these 5 things, 5 principles millionaires do, billionaires do, trillionaires even do, guys. These are the principles that they apply in their lives to prime their day for success, to open the doors to clearer thinking, to a more focused cognitive function. Guys, this is what it's about. Our brain, our body, and our spirit all being aligned, all being elevated, leveling up, our higher vibration, and being focused. And we do that by these 5 principles first thing in the morning. First one, cold therapy. Cold water therapy, guys. You got to immerse yourself. And my challenge for you is if you don't want to fully immerse yourself in like a tub of water, get in the shower. 60 seconds, fully cold water, move around. Don't just stand there, move around. All right, 60 seconds, and that's it. Then you can move into gratitude affirmations. Okay. And these are things you verbalize. I want you to speak it into existence. If you can verbalize these gratitude affirmations, you will change your life. All right, because it's about the biochemical reactions that happen from these emotions, these thoughts. If you can see it in your mind, if you can hear it, feel it, provide as many sensory receptors into that visualization, then you can start to really feel the gratitude on a whole new level. And you start to feel it vibrate throughout your whole body. And I want you to hold that, focus on it, and expand that throughout your whole body. All right, think about the things you're extremely grateful for, man. 3 things to start your day. What can you be thankful for, extremely thankful for? 3 things, like your family, your job, your house, you having breath, you even being alive. That's pretty great, right, too, because you're a pretty awesome person. And I want you to know that you're amazing. So be grateful for that. Be grateful that you still have another day, that you're alive, because there are a lot others that are less fortunate. And God rest their soul. So from there, guys, what I want you to do is move into a meditation. Now, there's so much science behind meditative states. And again, the whole reason, I'm going to simplify this for you. The whole reason we meditate is for our mind, is to enhance our cognitive function so we can get rid and focus on where we are going, get rid of the distractions, focus on where we're going. All right, that's what meditation does. It clears the clutter in our mind and allows us to calm and to ground ourselves and to focus on our passions, on that one thing that drives us, that fuels us, that gives us the biggest dopamine hits. We can drive ourselves by focusing that way. That's why meditation is so important. We practice every day, starting first thing in the morning, and is going to prime yourself from your mind for the rest of the day. All right, from there, guys, I want you to write down your goals. I want you to jot down, take 5 minutes, journal your goals, write down exactly what you want, where you want to see yourself in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years. Okay. I want you to think about, okay, by the time I am in the grave, what do I want to have accomplished and what impact do I want to make in this life or on this earth for my fellow human beings? Think about that. Make it a goal that really moves you, really stretches you, guys. Make it worthwhile. Start providing purpose for yourself. You'll start to see these dominoes will start to fall and things will start to move a lot faster. You're going to start to wake up into different things and to understand your purpose, and your passion will flow from that. So after that, guys, I want you to take time to read. So one of the most successful billionaires in our history right now, Warren Buffett, talks about how he spends every single day reading. 4 hours a day is what he spends reading. Now, you'll probably talk and you can ask many people in your family and just people that you interact with, ask them how much they spend, how much they invest, how much time they invest into reading. I guarantee you're going to get a very small number. Now look at that based on these people, where their lives have led and what they have gained from that. And look at Warren Buffett and these other billionaires who spend time and invest time in reading, invest time into themselves, and they have these greater outcomes. You think there, which would be the outcome that you want to achieve? I'm not saying the right or wrong outcome here. I'm saying simply, what do you want? If it's to live that life, then go for it. If it's to live like a billionaire, to be focused, to grow, to level up, then go for it. Whatever you want to do, focus on that and move towards it. I'm simply stating, guys, these are just tools, are methodologies that, if applied, will get you to the outcome that you want. Now, it's up to you to use that tool. Just because a rake is in the garden or is in the garage doesn't mean you're going to use it, right? That's up to you to use it. It's up to you to know how to wield it, how to apply it into your life and how to use it, really, honestly. So after that, guys, you structure your morning like that. You are going to feel energized. You're going to feel focused. You're going to feel alive and alert and ready to conquer the day. One more thing to add on to the back of that, make sure you drink 30 ounces of water first thing before you start your day. All right, before that morning routine is done, 30 ounces of water needs to be drank. All right, this is for your brain, because your whole body as well as your mind, every organ in your body functions from water. It is water. We are really over 90% water. If you think down to the molecules in the atom, in the cells themselves, the liquid that fills those cells, it's all water. So we got to replenish that water first thing in the morning. It makes our brain think clearer. It helps us to focus, gives us more energy, more aliveness, more alert focus. That is the biggest thing that is going to help you level up. It's going to help you change your life here. Now, these tools, like I said, are not just there, and they don't just work for you if you do not apply yourself. You have to stay focused on your goals. You have to stay committed. You have to keep moving towards your path, your purpose. The moment you deviate from that, things start to fall out of place, and things you would start to assume are just happening to me. That's not the case, because remember, things don't just happen to you. Things happen because of you. Think about this. You start to deviate from your path, your purpose. Things start to happen that cause you to lose focus and cause you to fall off. Now, that's not just a coincidence. It happened because you deviated from the start and then just spiraled out of control. See, if you can start to get into this mindset of thinking, okay, things happen because of me, it gives you all the power. It's not supposed to make you feel like a victim here. It gives you the power, because you can change what you know, but you can't change what you don't know. So if there was one thing that you left with after watching all of this, if there's one thing that you just left with, it's that. Okay, guys, you can change what you know. If you take responsibility for your actions, you can change your actions. You can't change external circumstances. You can't change other people. You can't change the weather. You can't change all these other things, but you can change yourself and how you react to those things. And that allows you to stay committed to your goals and on focus and on purpose. And if you can do that, more than not, you are going to achieve your goals without a doubt, but even faster than the alternative. Guys, this is the way. And if you focus this way, you will master yourself, and you will master your life, and you will be the master of yourself, which will then allow you to be the master of your time and your space around you. So in an essence, this is the mastery of time and space. Well, guys, thank you for joining me today. We are going to dive in on the next call next week. I got a very special message that's going to help you really identify, okay, after the morning, what do I do then? All right, we're going to talk about that next week.